Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to Bible Talk, where we look at scriptures, we observe it, and we apply it to our lives. Today we are on promise number 17, I believe, and today's promise is found in Isaiah 43:2. I'm going to be doing a few more verses in Isaiah. I think there's a lot of promises that I want to touch on and talk about, but recently I've been reading a lot of C.S. Lewis, and I'm always reminded after I get done reading guys like C.S. Lewis just how much more reading I need to do, how much more studying I have to do in order to get to where I want to be spiritually, theologically, and it makes it even harder to do videos like this after reading a C.S. Lewis book because of just how inferior I feel afterwards. But nonetheless, I feel like good teachers don't need to be the best teachers. Good teachers just need to teach the Word of God, and God will speak for Himself. And so it's not my job to be a theologian or the smartest person in the world, but I like to understand things simply. And so in order to do that, I need to simply understand things. And if I can grasp something, because I'm not, I would say, the most intelligent, I feel like I can teach something simply, which for the majority of people I feel is helpful. Sorry, that's a little bit of a ramble, but I do recommend C.S. Lewis books. C.S. Lewis is amazing, and Mere Christianity is a book that I feel every Christian needs to read. But all right, today's promise is found in Isaiah 43 verse 2. Isaiah 43 is the whole chapter is so beautiful and amazing, from start to finish. It's one of my favorite chapters in Isaiah. But today's promise is, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they will not overflow you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be scorched, nor will the flames burn you. When I was first thinking about this promise is very exciting because God is going to be with you. And then I started thinking about this promise further, and I think, well, this promise is almost scary because this is saying that, this is talking to the Jewish people at the time, but this is saying, I feel, for all children of God, you're going to have to go through the waters. You're going to have to go through the rivers. You're going to have to go through the fire. And the promise is that these things are going to come our way, but we're not going to be alone in these things. God is going to be with us as we go through these hardships. And we look at the Jewish people specifically, man, have they had a crazy history. They're the only people that have lost their entire nation for 2,000 years and yet kept their identity, and came back together. And so no matter what the Jewish people went through, God's proof is that they're still God's children. They're still a nation of Israel, a descendants of Jacob. And I find that so amazing because, man, Israel has they've been through it, and it just shows me that even if what we go through, we can't understand the hardships of what we're going through, or understand why God is allowing us to go through things. It's a great promise to know that when we do go through things, God is with us. He'll be with us, and nothing we go through will be more than we can handle, because God has promised to be with us as we go through those things. But this is a great promise, but it is a scary promise, because if you are a child of God, you need to expect that you're going to have to go through these certain trials. And why we go through these trials, we can't always figure out in the here and now. but looking back on our life, we will be able to. And then looking forward to eternity, we get to be with God. And I want to add one more thing about this promise, is that it's almost a comfort and a longing for going through these trials, because in the trials is when you can be as close to God as we will be here on earth. It's in the hardships that we can be the closest to God, that we can experience God's love the closest when we're going through the hardest things of our life. And although our tendency is to try to understand what God is doing, it's a great comfort to know that in our hard times is when we can seek the Lord the most. It's when he will reveal himself the most. And so it's a great comfort to know that when these things come, that is when we get to be as close to God as we will be here on earth. And I find that to be very encouraging. But I appreciate your guys' time, and we have a few more promises to go. But all right, until next time.